Newsmax studio in New York City, here is Steve Malzberg.
You told us on May you were going to give us all of Lois Lerner's emails, and you learned in February that this crashed.
I did not learn in February it was a crash, and we told you on Monday.
I'm not asking you a question. I'm just making a statement.
My apologies.
You are the Internal Revenue Service. You can reach into the lives of hardworking taxpayers, and with a phone call, an email, or a letter, you can turn their lives upside down. You ask taxpayers to hang on to 7 years of their personal tax information in case they're ever audited, and you can't keep 6 months worth of employee emails?
All right, folks, who will ever forget that? And we need to keep focusing on the IRS scandal in the face of everything else that's going on, and it's kind of hard to do, but we're going to do it right now. Sidney Powell, former DOJ attorney and author of Licensed to Lie, joins us. Great to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you, Steve. It's so nice to be here.
All right, so it turns out that Lois Lerner, who took the fifth, and then after she made a statement, and that's a point of contention, and her lawyer wants to cut a deal, etc. Lois Lerner actually did not only print out some emails after all, but she also had an email exchange and was very worried about this system, this internal system called the Office Communication Server, and inquired of another employee whether or not those emails that they send over that system, over that server, get saved automatically or not. And the advice to her was treat it as if they do. And she said perfect. And she warned employees reportedly not to say too much because these emails could be looked at. And she was worried if Congress would look at them. I mean, does this stink or what?
Yes, it smells very bad.
So what's going on here? I mean, let's first talk about this this concern that Lois Lerner had as a former DOJ official. How normal is this?
It's only normal if you're trying to avoid putting something in writing that might be incriminating. I think obviously they're trying to hide something, or they would have been forthcoming with all of it immediately. I can't imagine any other reason for this mysterious and sudden loss from not just one computer, not just hers, but 6 others.
All involved in the same aspect of the case.
All involved in the same aspect. I know that some people think technology can have a glitch like that, and I guess it's possible.
A very targeted glitch, right?
Yeah, a very specific glitch for the specific emails.
Maybe we'll call it a smart glitch.
Yeah, that's a good one. That relates to the time of the, that might implicate the White House in the scandal. We know there's a lot of foot traffic between the White House and IRS during the same time frame. So.
How? I mean, again, she took the fifth, but if there were to be a legal case against her, she's been held in contempt of Congress. But if the Department of Justice was going to prosecute Lois Lerner, and I mean, let's face it, they're not. How damning is this conversation, this concern over this server, and the advice she got and the response she gave, and then expressing her concern that somebody like Congress might have access to this?
It certainly implicates a consciousness of a problem and a concern. It could be evidence against her in a criminal proceeding. If they wanted to pursue it further, and if there were enough evidence to indict her, for example, they might encourage her to plead guilty to a lesser offense and then have her testify against others. And it might be that somebody's got those emails somewhere.
Well, that's another thing, because part 2 of all this is that, according to the Daily Caller, Lois Lerner did print out some, quote-unquote, some emails. After all, this is after Billy Taylor, her lawyer, initially claimed that she did not print out and file her emails, as the Federal Records Act required her to do. So I don't know which is worse. Tell me about the lawyer, though. If the lawyer testified to that, and now it turns out she did, could he plead ignorance? This is what my client told me, and I didn't lie and commit perjury here?
Yes, he would not have been. I don't think he actually testified under oath.
Okay.
He probably made a statement as a representation on her behalf that could have been misinformed.
So so Lois Lerner, if she misinformed her attorney, and now they find that she did print out some emails, wouldn't that lead one with a skeptical mind to believe that, you know, there's probably a whole lot more that she printed out and a whole lot more access to these missing emails than we're being led to believe?
It looks bad either way. it looks bad both ways.
Yeah, it does. It really does. So let's get back to what I said before, and that was a declarative statement. But let me ask you in a question form. I'm feeling like a lawyer right now. DOJ, your former employer, do you see any chance in this lifetime that they will prosecute Lois Lerner?
I think it's unlikely in the next 2 years that will happen. I mean, I wish I could say I could trust Department of Justice to conduct a thorough investigation of it. I think it would take a special prosecutor to do that. Eric Holder's not going to appoint one of those. It might be that Judge Sullivan or Judge Walton, who are hearing cases today and tomorrow, might go that route if things develop according to need. They'll evaluate it as they go. I know Judge Sullivan just issued an order telling IRS they have 30 days to file a response under oath that fully accounts for the loss of the emails. And he will be scrutinizing that, I'm sure.
And how could a judge act? In other words, if he's not satisfied with the following of that order, what could he do?
He can actually appoint a special prosecutor.
He can?
Yes. That's what he did in the Ted Stevens case discussed in my book, License to Lie.
Yeah, no, you go in depth in that, how Ted Stevens was, eventually after he lost his Senate seat, acquitted of the charges.
Yes.
It's a very scary situation. So Lois Lerner not off the hook yet. If a special prosecutor is appointed, that would take a lot of time. And then there's always a caveat in the end, though. No matter what a special prosecutor, if one is appointed, would find, and no matter what legal culpability Lois Lerner or others might be held to, there's always an outgoing president after a second term that could say, pardon, correct?
Oh yeah, that's always a possibility too. There's a lot to still be seen in this saga as it unfolds.
It does really make the average American think. I think this one resonates because it is the IRS, because of what Paul Ryan said in that bite that we started with, and because of the fact that they're smelling it. They're smelling the same smell we're smelling, and they're seeing that the Justice Department is doing nothing.
Yes, all Americans know that something's not right here, and they just want the truth. If the government would just be more forthcoming with everything, we can't identify a problem when they're hiding the truth. Well, you can't solve it if you can't see it.
And License to Lie documents so many instances and injustices that you write about, and of course from your firsthand experience in the Justice Department. Thanks for coming back. It's always great to see you.
Thank you. So nice to be here.
No, my pleasure. This is Sidney Powell, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. I have no confidence in the Justice Department. That's number one. But maybe a judge could actually get done what they won't do. All right, folks, we're coming back next with the author of the Newsmax July cover story, Craig Shirley. Don't miss this.